Hi there! I am so glad that you found my channel. My name is Katana, and welcome to the first video in a series where I am just going to knit and talk to you, and you can knit with me or crochet with me or craft with me, whatever it is. You can even just hang out with me while I talk, and that is perfectly fine. This is the kind of video that I was looking for on YouTube, and I noticed an absence of these types of videos, and I figured that I could go ahead and provide that for people. So yeah, I guess without further ado, we can go ahead and get into it. So today I am knitting a pair of leg warmers. This is going to be the first one. I got this yarn. It is the Karen Colorama Halo. It comes in a circle, and you snip the plastic and basically pick which side you want to start from. This one is a blue to white gradient. It's very cute when you snip it apart. It ends up, I think, I was calling it my yarn slug, because that's what it looks like. It looks like a cute little slug. So you will see later in the video, I actually didn't knit with enough yarn in order for it to turn into a gradient. So it actually just ends up being the same blue the whole way, which is fine. It's a very pretty blue. I really enjoy it. And while I do not start on the second one in this video, I have started on the second one, and I am just using the other side of the gradient. So this one is going to be a very, very, very light blue that looks white, and we'll maybe get a little gradient action. We'll have to see. This video will only have the one leg warmer in it, because I haven't finished the other leg warmer yet, and I don't think that's going to be its own video, but I will show finished results in a different video. You can see the finished results for this leg warmer at the end. It is a leg warmer that goes above my knee, and has a little room to be slouchy around my ankle. This pattern is the Lovely Ribbed Leg Warmers by Purl Soho. If you know, Purl Soho has a lot of free patterns. They're really nice. They're really good for beginners. And this one is really beautiful. For this leg warmer, I actually messed up the rib at the beginning, but I'm an imperfect knitter, and if I make a mistake, sometimes I go back and fix it, and sometimes I leave it the way that it is. It's sort of a practice and not taking stuff too seriously, which I have to balance with taking a lot of pride in my work and wanting to do good work. I really should have gone back and fixed the rib on this, but I had already knitted a lot and I didn't want to redo it. So yeah. But this pattern is super simple. It's a 2x2 rib. I, however, did this pattern a little backwards, and by a little backwards, I mean completely backwards, because it is supposed to start at a certain amount of stitches and then an increase, and according to the pattern, I needed the biggest size, so I knit on all those stitches, and then it ended up being way too big. And so I actually made that the top of my leg warmers, and I did decreases instead. So instead of increases for this garment, it is worked in decreases from the top down, instead of being worked from the bottom up. So I would just be wary of that. If you do use this pattern, which I highly suggest because it's a beautiful pattern, and this yarn that I use is incredibly soft. but I would be wary of that, and this could probably have been avoided with a cage swatch, or even me just knitting on those first stitches and going, this seems like a lot, and measuring it up against my ankle and realizing that it's indeed a lot. But I actually really enjoyed doing this as decreases. I think it made the pattern very manageable, very easy, and so I have worked the second one in the same fashion, where I am working it in decreases. I did this because I wanted them to be identical. I didn't want there to be any like significant differences because I worked them differently. If one was very obviously increases and one was very obviously decreases, I was worried about the quality of them looking similar. So I thought it was important for them to be matching. So I went ahead and worked the second one in increases as well. Or rather, I am working the second one in increases. A little background about why I'm starting this channel. I mentioned earlier that I have been looking for a type of video like this. I've only been knitting a year. I believe since August of 2021. So I'm a little over a year now. At the moment of recording this, it is December 21st. We are almost to a lot of holidays. Some holidays have already started, which is wonderful. And so yeah, I've been knitting a little over a year, and I haven't been knitting that whole time either. I took a break for a few months after finishing my first sweater, which took me about 6 months, just because it was my first big garment and I was learning a lot of new things. Even though it was a pretty basic sweater, it was still a lot of work for me. I'm very happy that I made that sweater because it was something I really wanted to do, and it was only my fourth project. My first was a bikini top, my second was a sweater for my dog, my third was actually a commission for a friend, and then my fourth was this pretty oversized off-the-shoulder balloon sleeve sweater that I really loved, and I still really love. I'm really happy with it. It's very beginner. There were a lot of mistakes. One of the sleeves is drastically bigger than the others because I accidentally read the wrong directions and I did not want to frog and redo it, which is a bad habit of mine. I don't like frogging and restarting things, which I need to get better about that, but I just hate re-knitting stuff. In fact, something that I won't show here is I accidentally twisted my stitches for the second leg warmer, and I didn't notice that because of the way that the wire on the needles is. And instead of frogging it to fix the twist, I just cut it. I just reinforced it with a piece of scrap yarn, and I cut it and twisted it in the right direction and kept knitting. That is the extent I will go to not re-knit things, which is pretty silly, and definitely a lesson for me that I need to learn that it's okay to redo things. So the sweater that I'm wearing here is actually the sweater that I knit. You can see it's off the shoulder. You can see sometimes on my hands, on the right one on the screen, there is a folded up piece of fabric in there. That's the sleeve that was way too big, so I had to fold up the wrist cuff just so that I would fit. But yeah, I'm still really happy with it. It's really warm. I still wear it. I've been wearing it even when it's snowing, which my partner says is a bad idea. They're like, you need to stop wearing this sweater when it's really cold because your shoulders get cold. And I'm like, but it's cute and I'm proud of it. But yeah, so in this clip, we're getting pretty close to the end of the leg warmers. Basically the only thing I don't show is that I casted them off. I finished the stitches, and then at the top where it's a little too big for my thigh, I actually folded it over and added some elastic into the band This way it would form to my thigh better and stay up a little easier. Right here, this is a charm that I made, a little stitch holder. I just found these really cute charms at the craft store and I decided to make stitch holders out of them. It was super easy. I highly suggest it, and it's my new favorite way to have a stitch holder is little charms. But yeah, so far I really enjoy knitting wearables. I really want to knit some socks. I have a lot of plans for the new year, which I need to go ahead and write down in a journal so that I keep track of them. But I'm definitely a practical knitwear kind of person. I want to knit stuff that I will wear all the time, or my partner wear all the time, or my dog will wear occasionally. She doesn't wear her sweater very often because the leg holes are a little bit too big. It was my second project ever, so I didn't even know what a gauge swatch was, that I was supposed to do a gauge swatch. To be real with you, I still haven't done a gauge swatch for any of my projects, which is really bad and why my projects end up not always sized properly, but I'm pretty good about checking them a few rows in to see if I need to make adjustments. So yeah, we're getting to the end of the knitting portion. I'm going to go ahead and show you how these leg warmers came out and what they look like on my legs, and I hope you enjoy.